Okay guys, today I wanted to talk about a very important topic that a lot of pet owners and a lot of dog trainers even seem to overlook. And not always overlook in the sense of they're not being responsible, but sometimes you get so comfortable with your job and you get so comfortable with what you have in front of you that it becomes pretty easy to get complacent. And the thing about getting complacent is it's just kind of part of the process. If you do something every single day or even on a regular basis, there's a very good chance that you will become very comfortable with that activity to the point where you start overlooking some minor things. Like if you drive every single day, at some point you're going to start going on autopilot yourself. You will start doing things without realizing, without paying too much attention to it. And then these little shortcuts that you take to do this activity gradually can become big things that get overlooked. So it's the same thing with owning a dog, training dogs, and it is sort of a topic that's very important. And that topic is we have to remember that any dog has the potential to bite at any moment. And I know this is very simple stuff. This is something that you know about, something that your average pet owner knows, something that your dog trainer knows about. But it's again one of those things that we tend to overlook. Now, I haven't gotten bit recently. This is not why I'm making this video. But it is something that I did talk about recently, okay? Dogs do have that potential to bite. Depending on what kind of dog you're working with, the potential could be higher and higher and higher. So if you're working with a dog that you don't know, the potential for that dog to bite you suddenly becomes higher. Remember, you don't know that dog doesn't know you. There's very little relationship there. So the potential of that happening is higher. Now, how often you get bit doesn't necessarily determine the possibility of this one particular individual biting you. It doesn't influence how likely this dog is to bite you. Okay, what does influence the dog biting you would be definitely your level of experience, your ability to read body language, your comfort with that type of dog that you're working with, and how complacent you are when you're working this particular dog. Those are factors that influence the likelihood of you getting bit. But that's not even the whole thing. Even if you know the dog, you can still get bit. I have worked with working dogs for the majority of my career. And working with working dogs, I got to work with a lot of dog handlers, working dog handlers, contract working dog handlers, police dog handlers. And one of the things that you notice with these very powerful dogs and with handlers that are not necessarily dog trainers, they're handlers, they're taught to handle a dog, not necessarily to train the dog. One thing that you notice is that it's not unheard of for dogs to bite their handlers, even if it's a minor issue, even if it's a minor conflict like, asking the dog to give up the toy, all the way to the dog getting so furious and so just so frustrated to the point where the dog will actually injure the handler. I have seen that as well. And the thing that the average person doesn't know is there isn't always a specific reason why your dog bit you. Okay, one of the things that working with these working dogs, one of the things that we would deal with is when a handler, and even when I have occasionally gotten bit too, and you go to the doctor, one of the questions that comes up is, well, what did you do? The question is very likely going to be, well, what did you do? And it's not necessarily always a provocation. It's not that you did something to provoke the bite, although a lot of times is exactly what happened. But sometimes it's that the handler or the owner or the trainer overlooked some subtle signals that cause this dog to be pushed to that point of biting. Okay, so not necessarily direct provocation, but sometimes you took your eyes off that dog a little bit too much. So these are things that can contribute to the dog biting you. Okay, even your own dog, again, if there's some sort of unresolved conflict, can turn into a bite. So it's important to know that. And remember, it is always within the realm of possibilities for any dog to bite you. Your own dog could bite you. Your own dog could bite your family member. Your own dog could bite your child. Your own dog could bite another dog that you have. Your two dogs could get in a huge fight. This is something that dog trainers are familiar with. The average dog fight that happens a lot of times, this happens within the same household, dogs that know each other. So you've heard of this. If you train dogs, you have probably had that client that told you that their dogs got along great until one day they got in this huge fight and they don't know what happened. Well, there's been a lot probably happening prior to that fight. The owner just missed those subtle cues, those subtle things. So just remember, any dog has the potential to bite. It's very important to know that. If you guys want to hear more content like this, make sure you like and subscribe. And make sure you go to dogtrainingismypassion.com and join the members area so that you can have access to exclusive content.